Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special Season's Groanings edition of Monster Party.
Monster Party.
Monster
Party.
I almost lost my voice entirely just from doing that opening because of the day that we had, but we'll get to that later. But hey, everybody, I'm Matt Weinhold.
I'm SHAWN Sheridan.
I'm Larry STROTHE.
And I'm James GONIS.
And for this episode, come on, it's the end of the year.
Yeah, man.
The end of the year.
We made through another year alive.
I know, barely,
That's
but
amazing.
hey, we're still hanging on. Yeah,
I know.
Yep.
It's been a crazy year, a lot of monster things.
Crazy year, but it's also been a good year in many ways, and we'll get to that as well.
Yes.
But Monster Party is now a corporate entity.
Yes.
And so, like many corporations and companies, they have their Christmas party, their holiday party to include everyone, you know?
And we spare no expense, Matt.
You know what? We rolled out no carpet whatsoever. I have hardwood floors, so there was no carpet.
Yes,
rolled
me too.
out. And but still, we love each other. And we did want to have a guest initially for this, but because of schedules and everything.
Yes, the holidays. It's,
we had to have it on a Saturday night, and it was a little tough to get anyone to give up their Saturday night. So, but we have nothing in our lives. So, so we were like, hey, are you home? Yes. Are you? Yeah, I can do it. Okay.
No, what better time to have a holiday party than a Saturday night?
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
that's true.
We can have cocktails, and Sean can do his
balls
reefer
to the walls, man. Reefers everywhere.
Sean's gonna do reefer and goofers,
and Mary Janes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole deal.
James is
bath salts, everything.
New cocktails now.
Yeah. And so that's what this is. This is our holiday party.
Yeah.
And so the official name of this episode is the Monster Party Holiday Bash 2022.
Dun, dun, dun.
Bash 2022.
Yeah, party, everybody.
Oh,
yeah.
Right, man.
Let's dance. Yeah, so here we are. We've all arrived at the party. And have we decided? Well, we're having it on Zoom. But so we're all kind of visiting each other. But I guess Zoom would be the hall that we've rented, right?
Yeah, the venue.
The venue,
right.
yes, right. And now we're just having our first cocktails and
we got our drinks.
We got our drinks. We're hanging around the snack table, and we've got the pigs in a Soylent Green blanket, and we're all
pigs in a Soylent Green blanket. That's so wonderful.
Hey, do you guys? I know we've talked about this before, but do you guys remember? Maybe I don't think. No, you weren't there because SHAWN Sheridan and Gina went as Soylent Green workers for Halloween.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wow.
And so we go to this party, and so they're not just Soylent Green workers, and they have these jumpsuits, and it looks great. They really
we had little
like,
ID badges, and like Soylent Corporation and everything.
It looked official. It really did. But then on top of that, they made these Soylent Green crackers.
Ooh.
And they're passing them out. Yes.
It was weird because some people were like, "Oh, I'm not going near that," and other people were like, "Oh yeah, I'll take some of those." Like,
and then they tasted them.
I have no idea what they're made of. We just
what the fuck were they? Because I remember eating them and going like, really?
Yeah.
This is you could have dyed a Ritz or something or a Cheez-It.
I can't. Gina would remember. I think we tried to actually make something out of dough or something, but then later we did another party later, and we just got little sour ball green candies, and those went over better because but like we tried. I can't remember.
It was a very odd flavor. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like it was sort of like it had a doughy, but like a stale bread quality to it. Undefinable flavor, and I don't know what that flavor. You have to ask Gina at one.
It was the flavor of the future. That's what
it was. By
the way,
It tastes like seasoned people, maybe. So
yeah, and I think I just heard this a couple of days ago. I'm pretty sure that the original Soylent Green movie took place in 2022. Is that correct?
Yes.
Larry, right?
Yes.
So there you go.
There we go.
So
Yay.
it's funny because I feel that it's been a missed opportunity to have like a Soylent Green party
or a festival. Why they do a movie?
Yeah.
Why don't they do like Cinematheque or something?
You know, Sean, this is what I would do. I would go all out because if you remember, everything's dying around you. So maybe what I do is I'd have one of those smoke machines to like smoke up the place a little bit. So people go, hey, is there a lot of mist? It's like, well, our planet's dying. So, hey, eat these crackers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie still holds up. It's so good.
It really does. It really does.
It really does.
And because what I love about it is that it's an alternate future. That's how I look at it, as a movie in a sort of a separate future.
Mm-hmm.
And so all the stuff that you see, it's sort of antiquated science fiction, but it all fits. It's like, well, if this is the path that mankind went on, this is what everything would be like. But
back when it was made, there was a lot of concern about overpopulation and pollution.
What happened to
that? Global warming, right?
Yeah. Yes. No, that was mentioned in the movie. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. And best of all, Whit Bissell was in it.
Not only Whit Bissell, but
he had to be in it. It was in his contract to be in everything.
For people who like kind of taunt him or whatever, Charlton Heston is so. Hey, shut up! Charlton Heston is so great in this film. He gives it his all, and then the relationship that he has with Edward G. Robinson, it's such a great relationship in this. Horrible environment, and this world is just so terrible and miserable, and the relationship between these two guys, helping each other out, and it's just wonderful. And
it's also a great mystery.
It's a great mystery, but it's also that movie. It's one of those films that shines in the non-action, big story-driven moments.
Right.
I mean, I would say probably my favorite scene in the whole movie is the dinner.
Yes.
Where they have all the, now they've gotten all this food. That's fresh, natural food that Charlton Heston has stolen, and they're eating it. And then I remember like they're having a great time, and then Saul just starts crying.
Yeah. It just hits him,
It just hammers home how shitty everything is. In fact, there's even a line, I believe, where it's like Charlton Heston says, "We're doing all right, Saul." And he goes, "We're doing lousy."
Because Thorn, right? That's Heston's character. Thorn he has nothing to nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
Like he just this is some cool, like really cool rare food we have. Like, but he just has no idea, and that's why when he illegally barges into the Saul's resting moment, when his last moments, and he sees what Saul's seeing. Thorn has never seen anything like that. He's never seen a lush greenery or a landscape or deers or anything. Like there's no such like
and I'm
alien to him.
I'm assuming that the books that have anything about the past like that, or movies or anything like that, probably all banned now.
Or have been very carefully controlled.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And here's another thing too. Is that with Soylent Green, the actual Soylent Green that's made of people. Spoiler alert. I would think that in that society, you got used to the fact that the only food were these crackers that you would eat, and they were in slightly different flavors. Right. But then I would think that humans are really adaptable, and as morbid as it may sound, I would think that if you were growing up with the fact that this is people, and that's what we eat, and that was normal to you, I don't think a society like that would think twice about it. They just
especially if it's made into a cracker.
And if it was tasty,
you put maybe a little fake cheese on it or something like that.
But I think
also
I always
made
got
people.
Yeah, and I always got the impression though that those crackers that were like, they weren't like super savory and like delicious. They were just like they were just enough. They're like a little taste to them, but people in the future didn't know any better. They're just sustenance to keep alive. It's not like it's like it's delicious. Like it's just a bland food, right? It's but it's organic. Yes, it has organic elements. You find out what it is, but it's just this thing to feed the masses.
I guess it's like, when you find out, ooh, what is this? Well, it's called foie gras or whatever. And then when you find out, ooh, it's duck liver, I don't want to eat that. But it's kind of like if you eat it and you're not really sure where it comes from or what it is,
right.
it's just like a cracker or a spread or something. It's not so bad.
Okay, guys. Well, I was just in Scotland.
Oh yeah, right.
And it was a lot of fun. And Scotland is a wonderful place. We were in Edinburgh.
Yes.
And we had meat pies and all kinds of wonderful things. But then we also had haggis. I had haggis for the first time.
I had that too when we were in there. Yeah.
Haggis is great.
I
love haggis.
What is haggis?
So haggis is like it's basically the entrails and pieces of liver and stomach and all kinds of
stomach lining.
And it's cooked in the stomach lining traditionally.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, but it's all like, what do they call it? Offal. It's all the stuff that normally people don't use. So the liver, the heart, the lungs, and then it's chopped up and mixed with oatmeal. And then
it's very seasoned, Yeah. I mean, it's just like, it's not bad.
What I had was very tasty. They put it on top of mashed potatoes.
Right.
And then they put gravy over it. And it was terrific.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
but then so many people will go like, well, when I hear what it's made of, I don't want to eat it. And it reminds me of every scene in one of those movies where it's like, this is great. What is it? It's lizard.
Right.
I was like, no, you liked it.
Yeah, right. I know.
I don't know. I think maybe I'd go back for the crackers made of people. Can I ask a goofy question? Did you guys, when you saw that film for the first time, did you know? Or did you not know?
When I think the first time I saw it, I was pretty young as a kid and I saw it on TV. And no, I did not. And that's the thing is that it's become it's like the ending of Planet of the Apes. It's such a familiar thing to so many, even people, maybe like younger generations of people who've never seen Soylent Green kind of know the phrase, Soylent Green is people. So it's one of those great twists that really works for the first time you see it, and it holds up. But it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of almost been like it's been cheapened or it's been copied a lot. I don't know, but it's a great idea.
It's also it's like Psycho.
It's not in the book.
It's not
really?
In the book?
It's not in the book.
Really?
In the book, in the original book is called Make Room, Make Room.
Right.
By Harry Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
And in that one, at the end, the horror is that overpopulation is just getting worse and worse and worse. So there's a scene in the book where Thorne and Cheryl, they go off together and they're going to stay in his place. But then the city comes in and says, and his place is just like this one room place.
Right.
The city says they have to split up his room. And so they've got like this, tarp cutting the room in half. And there's like a family of 5 on the other side of it. And it's just horrible. And now Cheryl is used to the good life.
Right.
So at one point, she just goes, I can't do this. I just can't do this. And so she takes off.
No.
And he's back to being a cop. And, it's been a long time since I've read the book. So some of the details may be a little foggy. But what I remember is that, at the end, it was just about overpopulation is just getting worse and
That's
worse
interesting.
and worse.
That's very parallel to the film adaptation of the original Planet of the Apes. I mean, to me, Rod Serling improved on the ending of that book, because the ending of that book was not Earth all along. They go back to Earth, and it's the same thing happening on Earth that happened on the ape planet. But it was Serling who thought the genius freaking idea to make it Earth all along, which is very similar to the Twilight Zone episode.
Yes.
I forget what it's called, which I think Mark Pitto was just talking about that on a couple of years back on other Holiday Bash with him. How, it's kind of like Serling already wrote Planet of the Apes in some ways in that half-hour teleplay of Twilight Zone. I forget what it's called, that episode, but the one where it's like these 3 astronauts they take off and they crash land on some planet. They don't know where they are. They start infighting amongst each other, killing each other off to survive. And they're in like some kind of desert. And finally they go over like this hill or something, and they see like power lines. It's like, fuck, we've been on Earth all along. But it's the same exact idea. But it's a genius to adapt that twist to Planet of the Apes.
Was there something about gold too? And they said, he's holding on to that gold. Like it's
right.
They were in suspended animation because they had just pulled a heist.
That's a different one though, isn't it?
Is it?
isn't there two different ones?
I'm sorry, Sean.
Well,
I don't know.
It's possible because they did there were some themes that crossed over. But what I remember is there's the one where it's these guys who pulled off the heist.
Yeah.
And then they're in suspended animation and they think that they're gonna, if I remember this correctly, they're gonna wait out time until
gold become really expensive.
And also everything is like no one's chasing them anymore.
Right.
And then they're hauling all they finally come out of it, and then they're fighting amongst themselves and they're hauling the gold.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to. If you've never seen that one, I don't want to ruin it. But
it's pretty good. But yeah, that's a great. It's interesting when they have a twist that kind of improve upon the initial.
Yeah, and Soylent Green is almost a Serling ending.
Yeah, absolutely,
and it fits really well, like as a new idea to that story, where overpopulation is this horrible thing. The idea of this is where we're at now, and adding all the environmental stuff and if I remember correctly, that's in the book as well. But the idea that, well, what are you going to do after the oceans die, and what are you going to eat?
Right.
I think having to share your
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Having to suddenly share your room with 5 other people is more horrifying than finding out that Soylent Green is made out of
that's
people.
terrifying.
I totally agree.
My God, that would be my hell.
So, are you guys suggesting that maybe Thanos had a good idea? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Maybe in some ways. Who knows?
Thanos thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those solutions to a problem that if you're the one who's getting erased, it's not so good.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, right.
Which they kind of try to explore in the first. It was the Godzilla, the new Godzilla film, or the second one. Where they're trying to bring back all the kaiju to kind of, the one woman scientist, and her daughter didn't agree. It's like, no, she was like, maybe it's time for the monsters to rule, and it's a new evolution of the planet or something. It's like, no.
That was a dumb idea. John, would you admit that's a dumb idea? Maybe it's time for the monsters. No.
Yeah.
No.
I think they're kind of trying to go for like a Thanos-esque
who's going to repair
idea,
your cable?
Well, it's just such a dumb idea. It's like, what? He's gonna spread atomic energy everywhere? Kill what?
Yeah.
No, let's not do this. Bad idea. Bad.
You've really gone out on a limb here, condemning that movie. That whole series, I don't. Why? I mean,
it's a missed opportunity. It really is
complete missed opportunity from the very beginning. And
I know.
There are those moments where you see Godzilla and he's doing his thing, and you're like,
yeah, there are cool moments. I mean, there are, like, it's the American way. We make movies
ruin things.
Well, but
we don't.
I don't mean that. I mean, it's like I would say
you.
I should say it's the Hollywood corporate way, in that you can have all the resources and facilities at your fingertips to make the most awesomely technology-wise, the most awesome spectacle with giant monsters that can look real and can interact in our real world, and it's like so cool and awe-inspiring. But then, like, if you just don't have good characters and writing, it just, like, that's the problem. Is like our cinema technology has way gone farther than, like, that's evolved so much, but the screenwriting has devolved. You know what I mean? Right. At least True. In the genre, seems to be in the genre stuff a lot, because you can dazzle audiences so easily now. But you kind of get away with it, or they think they can get away with it by just having kind of flimsy.
They do, though, because those movies are hits.
I know. That's the thing.
I think we're the wrong
ones. Gotten used to. But I think general audiences have simply gotten used to kind of weaker writing now. They're not expecting as much. So,
Sean, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Okay. I mean, here we are at holiday time. We have one of the biggest technological movies coming out. We've got the next Avatar, and it's like, it's big. It's
right. As you said that, James did the biggest yawn I think I've ever seen him do in his life.
That was not
James,
voluntary. That was involuntary.
James, aren't you at least interested in seeing this film?
Say Avatar again. See what happens.
Avatar.
That's it.
Sorry,
James, guys,
Larry,
look, I know
the first one was just it was Cameron retelling Dances with Wolves on this other planet with these blue Smurfs.
That's all it is.
Oh,
and
come on.
The main guy was one of the least developed, least interesting characters I can remember. I'm not interested in seeing what happens with these characters again.
No, I remember the characters. Like that's the thing is that movie. That's a perfect example we're just talking about. Is everybody went to see that movie because of the technology.
It was successful, Sean.
Larry, did people go and drove to see that because they heard that it was a screenplay by James Cameron? No, they went to it in droves because of the new 3D technology and all the effects. That's all.
I think there might have been a little bit of, there might have been a little bit of like the guy who brought us Terminator, and,
but
Aliens and Titanic. I mean, he's pulled rabbits out of hats before.
Yes. I'm really. We were talking about this before the show started. I'm really, really curious to see how this movie does and how people respond to it.
Me too.
And if in general people think now today in 2022 if Avatar is still relevant, because there's so many other successful and like fruitful franchises now that that are just effects filled and just have done just taken cinema in other directions as far as fantasy and sci-fi. So it's like I just wonder is Avatar, this new one, going to just get lost in the shuffle? Is it going to be like, I don't know. I'm really curious. I'm personally not rushing out at all to see. I saw the first one when I was in the theater. No, I have no interest. No. Larry, there's so many other movies and TV shows I have to catch up on to see.
I know.
Avatar's way down.
Sean, it's an event film. Don't you like to go in the big theater?
Is it still though?
Yes. Well, I'll tell you. You know what? I'll say this. I don't know if you guys remember when the film Annie came out back in 1980. And
how dare you? How dare you?
That was
everyone just,
I don't remember when Annie came out.
82. Okay, just bear with me here. Okay, Mr. Gonis over there, Mr. 82. So when it came out, the studio had made these deals or something. It was supposed to be this big blockbuster musical. Everyone loves Annie. Everyone's going to flock to see this. In the musical play, the moment where Annie and Daddy Warbucks get together and stuff, it's like Christmas. But in the film, they decided to change it. We're going to make it the 4th of July. It's very American, eh? And it bombed. It was
because of that?
No. It made a lot. So. I mean, it cost a lot of money.
No, but I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, Larry, because they kind of presented.
They try to mold it.
Like but they're also trying to tell everybody, hey, everybody, you have to go see this because if you don't see this, you're not cool.
You're a loser. You're a loser.
And Larry, you know what I remember about this? But this is what I remember about it. I swear this is what happened. I remember this as a kid or when this came out. And it was one of the because I didn't go see that movie. I didn't care. But if I'm not mistaken, they raised the movie ticket prices specifically for that movie because they thought it's such a great big movie.
Yes,
I don't remember that.
Talk about obnoxious, like really. It's terrible. I don't know what it was, but it's like a couple bucks. So it's like normally it was like $4 or $5 or what? Yeah. So you're paying and I thought at the time wow, is that going to be a fucking trend? Like now, the next Star Wars that comes out, it's going to be like $10 more. Just that's bullshit. And I think that hurt the movie too, because raising the prices because they just think their movie's so great. That's bad. That's bad marketing.
But see, I will say this. Look, with Avatar, you've got the whole money machine behind it. Look, this is something that and Sean, Cameron has been working on this for a long time.
I know.
And they've developed it. And look, some of the clips it looks great. And Sean, I have to tell you, being the regular Joe out there, I am curious. I
guess I could see if you're
maybe I liked Avatar more than you guys. Yeah, I thought there was goofy things. But some of the visual imagery that I've seen in the clips and this beautiful water stuff, Sean, I want to go. I want to participate with other people. I want to go to a big theater with a lot of people and enjoy this
the holidays.
spectacle.
Might be a good time to do. Yeah, if this movie does help get people back into theaters, which I know has been kind of spotty still, right? Maybe that will be good.
Yeah.
Because of COVID and all that. But again, I'm just really curious to see because aren't they doing a whole amusement park or something?
Okay. Let me reel you back here. Here's the other thing about it. They're not doing. It's already there.
Where?
There is It's at Disney Florida, and in the animal park. There's a whole ride. There's an Avatar ride.
That would be fun.
Really amazing.
I bet the ride is better than the movie.
And so, Sean, what I would say to you is one of the reasons why this film is important, at least for Disney that owns the property now, is let's say it doesn't make back its money. Let's say it does okay.
Right.
The one thing it does do, it maintains the franchise.
The brand, of course.
The brand. And
right.
I think the true test, Sean, is going to be if it does okay. It can't just do okay.
I know, you're right.
Great.
You're
right.
right.
And then the question is, I remember I've heard Cameron say, well, I've got 4 or 5 films. I'm like, really? That's kind of ballsy, man.
Do we really need 5 Avatar films?
Nope. Well, Sean, there are 3 Lord of the Rings films. You've got,
I know.
How many Star Wars films are there? You know?
Too many.
Guys, we're talking this to death. Larry, obviously you like Avatar. I couldn't give one single fuck for the first one. I enjoyed some of the 3D, and that was it. I don't care what I'll wait until this thing is, like I can pick up the Super 8 version. See, I have this image in my head of like, I come over to your house one day and here, Matt, take this drink. You go, oh, take your drink. Oh, and you pass out. And then we tie you up and put your eyelids open like
Clockwork Orange.
We show you the film. All right, Matt, you're ready. You go, ah. And look, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I'm just saying that, it's the holidays. I know. Look, hey. I'm sure our listeners are curious too, what we all think about this film. And so I'm going to check it out. I'm going to see what all the fuss is about.
I'll be curious to see what you think. And I'll be really curious to see like the box office, and what people are thinking. And,
and there's a lot of speculation about, how much it costs and will it perform? Will it recoup? What we don't know is it might actually be really good. I think there's a good chance it's better than the first one, but it would have to be a lot better than the first one for me to want to see it. That's where it comes. It's like
I said, I will eventually see it.
I don't like those aliens.
Yeah. Well,
I think they're neat, but
I don't like them at all.
Also, after the MCU, after Guardians of the Galaxy, you go to so many different worlds and species, and there's humor, there's character, and I'm entertained. I'm amused by the dialogue. There was nothing in the first Avatar that had any of that kind of.
Definitely. That movie first. That's one thing I do remember about the movie. It took itself very, very seriously. There was no kind of like, it was this is important. This is really deep stuff, guys. Watch this. Look at this. Look at this tree of life and what it represents. Like, really? It's like that. You're right. That's why some like the MCU when they do it right. Although I will say, has anybody seen the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special?
Yeah,
no, it looks funny. I want to see it. Did you?
No,
Sean.
Okay.
No,
it is very strained. It's a one joke idea. It's 45 minutes long, and it's 30 minutes too long.
No,
wow.
You liked it? You liked it, James?
Passably. Look, it wasn't. The joke is Kevin Bacon. That's the joke.
Oh,
right?
Great. Thanks.
No.
For wrecking it. Now
Larry, in the trailer you see that. The joke. Yeah. The joke is this is the wacky idea. This is a holiday special they made for Disney Plus. It's like a 45-minute special with all the Guardians of the Galaxy. Although Peter Quill isn't. It's really Drax and Mantis. Right. They go off because Peter Quill is sad about Christmas, about the meaning of Christmas. So Drax and Mantis go off on this long, belabored, wacky adventure to kidnap Kevin Bacon, the actor, and bring him back to wherever the fuck they are in space for Peter Quill to cheer him up. That's it.
Sounds funny.
It's slim. It's really slim. There's no question.
James, yeah. But get this, guys. It's also, and I know this because James put a couple of the songs on the CD that we got. It's a musical. So Kevin Bacon sings a rockin' song at the end.
Nope.
Yeah, it is. I found it. Gene and I watched it and like, oh, this should be cute. And about 5 minutes in, I'm like, oh my God, this is what this is? Peter,
that's what the Marvel universe is becoming.
James Gunn directed it. It's Guardians. The whole cast is there. It's like, wow, this is what you gave us.
They lost the plot.
It could have been kind of cool. Like I love the idea of like if you're gonna do a kind of fun, wacky holiday special. Yeah, do it with the Guardians of the Galaxy, but don't make it this.
Well, what he should have done, what he should have done was his own Star Wars type holiday special where he blended in animation and live action and this
something.
Bring in B. Arthur or whoever the
something.
Today's B. Arthur.
And the thing is though, and because this particular special is Dave Bautista as Drax and what's her name? Palm Clementif as Mantis. I like Mantis. I like the character of Mantis. But when you see this, you won't, because they don't direct her well. She's annoying and bad. And I don't blame the actress. I blame the fucking script. It's like
Mantis is a nothing character. I'm sorry.
Banter.
I like Mantis.
But Drax and Mantis bantering and having it's just not good. It's like, what are they thinking? It's bad.
All right. So
anyway,
on another note. Carrie and I, we just finished Andor.
Oh, yeah.
We're only
what do you guys think about that?
We're only 5 episodes in, and right now it's gotten really good. By the 3rd episode, it's kind of like what Betha Commando said. It was like, wait to get past the first 2 episodes, and then it's good. I'm really into it. I love all the machinations of like the internal stuff with the Empire and all the social and all the politics, and I like the little mini. It's like down deep into like the little details of the rebellion, and I like that. So again, we're only 5 episodes in, and there's 5 more to go. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it because it's not relying on any of the famous Star Wars characters. It's their own. It's these other characters. Because that's what Obi-Wan Kenobi just was terrible by doing that.
Here's the thing: is that we've watched it. And people rave about it. Now, I guess there must be a Star Wars gene that I'm missing. I love the Star Wars universe, especially visually. Like I love the designs, and I liked Rogue One. But the problem I had with Rogue One is that all the characters are like nothing. And I find what's the guy, Diego Luna, who's Andor,
right?
Yeah, I think he's a big 0. In the charisma,
I like him.
The charisma department. I think he's. I mean, if that's all you got, great. But I think you could have found somebody with so much more charisma, somebody who was so much better. And one of the things I have, without giving anything away, I just think that they pad. Oh boy, do they pad!
Well, like I said, I do
and drawn out, and there are a lot of things that are like. This does not have to be drawn out like this.
Well, I did, like I said, the first 2 episodes.
I still liked it. And I have to say, I'm being unfair if I say Diego Luna 0. I wouldn't give him a 0. No, I would give him an adequate. He's fine.
I've seen 4 episodes now, and it does take a while to get going. But one thing I was impressed and somewhat relieved by is that it's not filled with androids and aliens. It doesn't rely on that. It's more of a
stunt casting of like, let's see a CGI Luke Skywalker or a young Leia. Like, who fucking cares?
Right.
Like,
I love the tone. The tone of it is great.
Yeah.
I just think though there's a lot of things in it that I've seen a million times in other movies. And
Matt, try watching Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm telling you.
Okay. See, let me.
But I still
be like,
I still have to say that I did. I it's not like I didn't have any enjoyment when I was watching the show. I did.
So far to me, it's the strongest Star Wars series since the original Mandalorian.
Okay, Sean, that was
since the Mandalorian. Okay.
Yeah, after getting through Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I know a lot of I liked Boba Fett better than most people, but I do see that it kind of went nowhere in some ways. But that's why Andor so far to me seems fresher and a little more involving and just interesting. But I don't know. We'll see.
I just want to ask you though, as someone you're now, 5 episodes in.
Yeah.
For me, is it something that I'm missing, like with Diego Luna, where it's like someone trying to do their own kind of Clint Eastwood, but for me, it doesn't work. Whereas Clint Eastwood is one note, but he plays that note so well that he can not say anything and say so much, especially in those early, spaghetti westerns.
Yeah.
This guy, I I don't get it. I guess I'm tone deaf to this particular show.
No,
and it's not like, and look, I like a lot of things about Star Wars. And as we've discussed before, I like the first two movies. And so I'm not adverse to Star Wars, but
what about the other
was so
characters?
hyped so much, and I watched it, and it's like, it's okay. It's good.
Well, what I've heard,
it's adult. I like that.
Yeah. I've heard actually. I don't know where I heard this. Maybe this is not true, but I've heard that's actually not doing that well because it's like they finally got a decent fucking Star Wars TV series running, and now nobody's kind of watching it because the last couple have been so disappointing. Yeah, so I think it's not doing. I think it's not doing as well. It's kind of like the underdog now because it's like if that came out like maybe if the Andor came out right after the first season of The Mandalorian, maybe it'll be. But I think people are like, maybe it's overexposure, I don't know. But yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, I like all the other characters too. Like they're just pretty good. I find the acting good. And like I said, the down on the ground level, seeing how like a rebellion starts is interesting. And I really like that. I really like the defaced, that one Empire guy who's kind of like fucks up. And like is just humiliating. Goes back to his mom. I love that.
I won't say any more about that.
Okay. I mean, so far at least I'm liking that.
But
I mean,
I will say this though, I would watch another season of it.
Okay.
That says cool. Something
from Matt Weinhold. That's from Matt Weinhold about a Star Wars.
Mr. Star Wars.
So if we could be helpful for a moment to our listeners. There are a lot of people out there, they work a lot and they aren't able to watch a lot of these shows. And there's a bunch of these Star Wars things out there. And you kind of answered it, but it's like if you haven't had time to do the Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mandalorian, all this other stuff, are you saying, Sean, that you know what, this Andor, it is pretty good? That's the one you should check out.
To me, if you don't mind not seeing another iteration of Luke Skywalker or Lando or anybody, like if you don't care about seeing all those characters that we've seen a billion freaking times and just want to see new, fresh faces in the Star Wars universe, then yes, because that's what I like about it. It's just its own little tangent thing and not relying on any gimmicks of that sometimes weighs down the franchise. I think,
I am rooting for it. Like I really want to like it. I'm not a hater with this. I watched this with Carrie, and there were so many times where things took so long to get through. Yeah. There were so many speeches. That was the other thing too. You'll see there's a lot of speechifying, and it's like, wow, someone is really impressed with their writing. But
I think nowadays, I want to
like it.
Yeah, I think the budgets of these shows too. It seems like about a 10 episode order is what they always kind of go for. Yeah. Like less than 10 people, I think it's not financially, workable. So they make 10, to kind of fill out their,
like Britain.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's what it is.
Do a standalone movie, because for me, I mean, I enjoyed Mandalorian. I enjoyed every episode of the first season, but for most streaming series, especially the MCU series. And I know that I'm probably in the minority on this, but as much as I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki and WandaVision,
I liked all those.
I liked them. I would have liked them if they were movies instead of series. Honestly, I didn't feel like they necessarily justified that many episodes.
You know what? I think I know what you're getting at, James. I really do. Yeah. Because I think, again, it's the padding.
Yeah, but that's the business model, though. That was
I know.
Think of what they're making more money with these streaming episodes probably than the movie sometimes.
But,
it's
with
like
WandaVision, for me, that worked. And it goes against what I normally like, because it did take a long time to get to it. But it was
so weird. Yeah.
No, I wasn't as fascinated as I wanted to be.
Okay.
I was just like, can we please get on with it?
No, I hear you.
But James, along those lines, though, I'll tell you, the one series that's talk about a complete, utter waste of time is the Hawkeye series. And that was last year, and that was a Christmas theme series. It's all about Clint Barton trying to get home for Christmas, but then there's shit happens. I mean, it was like 10 episodes, and we watched them all because I'm thinking, okay, this can't be this bad. Something has to happen that's going to be good. Like, no, nothing happens. It's completely useless. I mean,
if only he could run into John Candy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're setting up a character, I guess, but it's just like that. Really, they did not need at all. So. But then they come up with something like Werewolf by Night, a one-shot special, which is great. And Moon Knight is great. So it's like, I don't know. It's just, look, I mean, when you have a franchise like that, I'm just happy that some of them are good and sometimes great. And you're going to have your bad ones too.
The Werewolf by Night thing was inspired because they did, they looked at this and they went, well, we're not sure because
they could do anything. They could do anyway.
They could do anything. They could do a full series of something. Right. I also feel like because of what's happened with the Universal monsters and the shared universe, they might have been a little gun shy to commit to a horror series, especially. And then on top of that, maybe Morbius.
Morbius sucked.
Which I know is a different.
Man. Yeah,
but that was another waste of time, man.
But like Werewolf by Night that's a great idea, and that's a model that they should use in the future. Test run some things. Let's see how it goes. Give us one really good episode
in a certain style.
Give us a mega pilot and see how we feel about it.
Instead of 10-hour episodes that really could have been shrunk down to 4,
But wouldn't you guys say, look, we're kind of bitching and complaining about this, but
that's what we do.
Guys, I know, but isn't it nice that they've taken the time and energy to put these things out there?
Oh yes,
so
we've always
love science fiction fantasy. I mean,
we always say that
times, and sometimes I think you guys get a little too critical. I think you get a little spoiled. You're like, oh man, I don't like this, but
we do have high standards in a way because like, look, we love this stuff so much, and like when we see something done right, it's like, man, you see, you can do it. Fucking great. Don't make Thor Love and Thunder. Make Thor, the second movie. That one's good. Like, don't, because think of the money. Think of the money that's spent, the salaries on these actors. I'm glad that they're like employing all these millions of people, but like, God, when it's like such a big thing like that and it's just bad, it's like,
there's also so many of these things that you have to become critical because there's no way to see all of them.
Yeah, you have to
weed them out. Okay, which one of these is worth seeing?
Yeah,
I will say this: are we getting to a point where there's a flood on the market of too much science fiction, fantasy, and horror, and maybe are they turning people off?
I'm worried. I worry about that because remember the day? Yeah, we all grew up in the in the 70s, early 80s
times.
Yeah.
When like, okay, there's the next episode of Buck Rogers on. Okay,
I remember. That was the only game in town for a while.
And it's the really shitty second season, but like that's all we got. And then there's like
we watched it, Sean. We watched
Powers of Matthew Starr. Okay, let's watch that. Whatever it is. And it's like, that's all we had. We had to seek that out. We were just grateful to find anything. Now it's like there's so much. It is crazy. Have you checked out the Netflix series Cabinet of Curiosities, Guillermo del Toro show?
No.
Good. I've only seen the first 3 episodes. It's an anthology series, and he hosts it, and they're like half-hour to hour episodes, really dark and gruesome and gory. And so far, I'm enjoying the first 3. They're kind of some based on Lovecraft episodes and other.
Nice.
I mean, so far, like I said, but it's like, cool. This is a great, scary, dark, creepy horror anthology again. So there's that. We've only seen 3 of those.
Inside Number 9. You guys do that?
What is that?
You don't watch Inside Number 9?
No. What is
Number
that?
9 is the guys from League of Gentlemen.
Is it? Where is this on?
Pemberton and Reese Shearsmith. And
is it on what? BritBox
and it's on. I want to say BritBox.
Okay,
but I'm telling you,
what is it?
But it's this dark anthology series that's also comedic because it's these guys from the League of Gentlemen.
Right.
And number 9 it always plays. It's like number 9 is the number of the house or the floor that it takes place.
So that's
they always use that as kind of a theme.
That's cool. I like that. That's
but
cool.
these stories are really clever, unusual.
So anthology.
They're all
right?
over the map. Yeah. In the styles that they adopt.
Wow.
And
it's another one.
And it has the same taste of like the League of Gentlemen.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Edgy,
and if you haven't seen that show, well, that's
that's a great show.
Adventure for you. But Inside Number 9 is some really great stuff. There are moments of genius in that show.
Okay, wow, I'll have to check that. I did not know about that. That's the thing. Like when it's to the point where like you literally have never heard of something that somebody mentions. It's like, wow. Like
it's funny since Matt and I, we've talked about this a little bit. I mean, I've been very busy lately. I haven't had a lot of time to watch a lot of stuff. And my daughter has been contacting me and saying, "Daddy, have you had a chance to see it?" "No, honey." And so my daughter and I, she's seen a lot of these things. Right. And so for the holiday, when I'm taking some time off, she goes, "Hey, Dad, we're gonna watch this. We're gonna watch this."
That's good. Yeah.
So my daughter's we're gonna do like this binge. But the funny thing is, she's watched it already, and now she's gonna watch it again. Like she actually really liked Wednesday.
See, that's one that's like I'm a little bit interested, but like
couldn't get through it.
Again, really? Is it a comedy? Is it like is it comedy?
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. It's warmed over Harry Potter again.
Is it just her? Is it just her?
You want a clone of Harry Potter? Like, I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but at least Harry Potter was its own thing. And then so now every time they want to copy that, So
is it like do you see the other Addams character? Do you see the other Addams Family characters? It's just okay.
And it's some strange. Let's just say it's some strange casting in areas.
Well, I look forward to seeing that. But also, she was telling me about the House of the Dragon, which I haven't had a chance to see either.
Yeah, House of the Dragon and the Lord of the Rings shows we haven't even touched yet.
Yeah,
no, we did. We saw the first episode.
I'm out. I'm done with. I'm not interested anymore in the Game of Thrones universe.
If there was no other fantasy, sci-fi, or horror series or TV movie or anything on, then I'd watch those. But like they're so low down on my list. It's like I can't.
I'm not saying they're bad because I haven't. watched them.
They might be great.
Interested.
It's like I can't. It's too much, man. I'm telling you.
I sat through House of the Dragon and
all of it.
All of it. Yeah.
What is it like? Is it good? We watched the first episode.
It's okay. It's not, for one thing, it's no secret that they changed the cast halfway through because it's supposed to be a time jump. So suddenly you have all these kids who are now adults played by different actors and they're different people. So it's just like, you got to get your head around that.
Right.
Plus there's all these characters to begin with and all the shit going on. So it's hard enough to follow. The last episode was like, God, if all the episodes were as interesting as the last episode, it would have been a lot better. It's okay. It doesn't have the drive that Game of Thrones had. That first season, after the beheading and so on, and you're like, oh God, this is, you're hooked, right?
Yeah.
This doesn't really have anything like that. And so it takes a certain amount of patience. I'll probably watch the second season. It was engaging enough. It was a lot more engaging to me than The Lord of the Rings, which I could not get into for the life of me.
I had trouble with that too. Yeah.
Really?
So you watched like a couple episodes?
I watched like most of the first episode, and it
really.
Was it too talky? Did it not look good? I heard
it was weird, but there was just something that felt forced, I guess, for me. And also, I just by nature sometimes have trouble with fantasy. Like the minute we get into dragons and things like that.
You don't like dragons?
Well, I do.
Why do you hate dragons?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Dragon hater.
I am a the sequel to Dragon Slayer.
Just Matt sitting around going, I hate dragons.
He doesn't kill them. He just hates them.
The thing is like with Lord of the Rings, that's presented in a way, especially, I guess it has to do with, it's case specific to the filmmaker.
Sure.
Because Peter Jackson, he did it for me. Brilliant. He got it. He
right. He knows
this works for me. Now I don't find this silly anymore. I'm taking it seriously. And I know I read like the first couple books, and Tolkien, I think is, a master. But those films I enjoyed. But when I got to this one, it felt like that fantasy thing that I don't like was coming back. Everything felt a little too forced.
To me, epic fantasy Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. You've got Frodo, you've got Bilbo. They have a quest. Mm-hmm. Here you have a woman who's, I guess, part of the elf tribe, and she's got, I guess it's a prequel, and she has to.
It's the Silmarillion, isn't it?
It's a Silmarillion, yeah.
Which I never read.
No, me neither. But unlike the other ones, where I felt like I could follow Frodo, I felt like, okay, this is my this is who I identify
your
with,
mission,
and I'm carried along this.
He's your avatar.
Point.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. Here, I'm out of it. I don't relate to this woman elf. I can sort of see that she's doing something really important and trying to rally the kingdoms or whatever, but dramatically, I'm just out of it. I don't care.
It's kind of scattered.
Yeah, it's just happening.
Yeah.
And Matt, I remember you had said, this is yet another show that made me think that I have to watch, because you had said that most of the time fantasy is not your thing, but you said that the Sandman series works really well.
Oh my God, that's genius.
And so that's another show that we have on our list.
And also
to watch.
and that's a different thing, because what that one does is it rides with horror.
Right.
And so you've got the fantasy horror thing, operating side by side. And that's an interesting show, because I got into the comic and I really love the comic. And there are certain fantasy things that actually work better as a book or as a comic book or, graphic novel, whatever you want to call it. And that format brings it to life and makes it work. Whereas the minute you try to bring it to the screen,
sometimes the mediums don't work well. Right.
Yeah, it's tonally off, and Sandman just nails it. That's cool. James, did you see it?
No.
I think you'll really like it, because were you a fan of the Neil Gaiman series?
I never read them.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I know. I need to. Is Gaiman involved in the series?
Oh yeah.
I think he was, right? Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm really, that's one for sure. We're going to check. Well, probably when we finish Andor, we'll probably do Sandman. So, there's also, I think, a show that's by the same creators of Dark called something like 1886 or something. It's like this boat that travels through time or something. I think it's 1886 or something like that. That's supposed to be good. It's the same people who did Dark, and I love Dark, so I'm going to check that out.
Did you guys ever watch, there was a show, and it was like an international production. I think it was like French, and there were American actors, and I forget the other countries that were involved, but it was called Into the Night.
Never heard of it.
No.
And I
only know that as the Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Pfeiffer movie from the 80s. Yeah.
It is a horror movie based on that. And okay, so I just looked it up. Into the Night. It's a Belgian apocalyptic sci-fi drama thriller, according to Wikipedia.
Wow.
And so the premise is that people who are exposed to sunlight die.
Huh.
And so there are these people who are on a plane, and the plane is ahead of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And they find out through various methods that this is happening. And so all these people on this plane, who are at times against each other, are trying to outrun the sun and survive before they get zapped by the sun, and then everybody dies. And they're trying to figure out places they can go that maybe they'll be safe from the sun's effects. No one really knows exactly what is causing this, but it was really interesting, and it was some very exciting TV.
And is it like, so does the whole series take place on the plane?
Well, a lot of it does, but they can't fly forever. So they'll find some place like, look, this is the only place that we can land that's close enough, and it's in the dark, but we only have like an hour and a half to be on the ground before the sun gets to us. So we got to refuel, and we got to get back in the air and then find another place. So there's a lot of that happening. But I thought it was very exciting and
interesting idea.
Super fun. And it's really satisfying.
Okay.
And then the character stuff, the character interaction all over the place is fantastic. So if you're looking for yet one more show, try this one.
Okay,
cool.
It's amazing how much stuff there is. What other like new Christmassy things are there? I know there's I saw a trailer. There's this new movie called Violent Night.
Yeah.
Does anyone know anything about that?
Well, I saw the trailer. I mean, it's funny that you watch the trailer and it's like, you get the whole movie in the trailer. It's
like Die Hard with Santa.
It's a cute idea. It's like, yeah, Santa. It's this really wealthy family who is home invaded one night around Christmas Eve, I guess, by these like ruthless mercenaries or something who they tie them all up and they have to get into their big safe. But it happens to be when Santa arrives down the chimney. So it's like Santa as Bruce Willis in Die Hard, like purposely like, killing people, like it's over the top gore. But like you see the trailer and it's like, that's the whole thing. It's David Harbour as Santa and John Leguizamo as the leader of the bad guys. So, I mean, you watch the trailer, it looks kind of funny, but like, it's just like, you get it.
If you've seen the trailer, you've seen the movie.
Like, it looks like kind of thing maybe like a 10 or even 20 years ago, it would be a really, really fresh idea. Yeah. But like now it's like, oh, yeah, like it looks kind of, could be cute, but watch the trailer and it's like, you kind of don't need to see the movie then.
I think that one falls into the category of what I call disposable cinema.
Yeah.
It's like something I think that I would probably enjoy watching, but I would never want to see again.
Yes. Looks like that kind of movie. Yeah. That's the only genre thing that I noticed recently as far as for a Christmas thing, other than that and the Guardians of the Galaxy thing.
Well, there's
James, did you recommend to me Fat Man? Was that you?
We talked about it. I don't think it was me.
It was not you. Okay.
No.
Fat Man this is one that came out a few years back. Okay. And I want to watch it again because when I saw it, I loved it. And it's with Mel Gibson.
Oh, yeah. I think you told us about this one.
Yeah. And he's Santa. And he gets into this situation where to make ends meet, he's got to work with the military industrial complex.
Right.
And yet so that's one aspect of the story. And then another thing is that there's this disgruntled kid and a hitman, and the disgruntled kid who doesn't like Santa now gets this hitman who also has a problem with Santa to go after him and put a hit out on Santa. And it's really fun. And the elves are great. And I thought it was really clever. Say what you want about Mel Gibson, but I think he's really good in it. So if you can separate,
right.
I would really recommend that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Hard, but
I still love the Road Warrior though. I mean, you can't,
Of course. Yeah.
It's not Mel Gibson. It's Max.
Right.
Speaking of which, I just watched this documentary that I'm sure, Sean, you have seen, but it's called Not Quite Hollywood. And it's all about Australian exploitation movies.
Yeah. Like Ozploitation. Yeah. I've seen that a while ago.
It's great.
It was so good. And what was great about it is there's so many movies that I was not aware of, or I was not aware that the same guy made them all. But the other thing too is that it kind of hey, let's put on a show attitude of the Australians. It made me. We were just talking about the proliferation of too much CGI,
right?
Going back to those days of like the Road Warrior, where you got a bunch of empty cardboard boxes, and that was your cushion that you fell on when you flew out of the side of the truck.
I know.
And I miss that. I really do. I miss that visceral, grab you by the balls kind of cinema.
Yeah.
And so that's a great, if you need something that's some fun watching, that's educational. Tarantino's in it. He's great. It's an older documentary.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I'd never seen it.
There was another one called like Machete Maidens or something.
That's fun too.
That was on the Filipino industry,
That's right.
That was similar. Machete Maidens from Hell or something.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Yeah,
right.
And that's another like great
and that
area
had
of
a lot of like Sid Haig,
Pam Grier, and
Pam Grier, right?
That's a good one too. Yeah, that is a good one.
And these things, I found this on Pluto TV. And Pluto TV, I know that you don't like
documentary channel.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
and
I know you don't like commercials, and I don't really either. But to have something on in the background when you're just doing your shit around the house,
that's why. The funny thing about Pluto TV is that even though it's of course a streaming channel, it doesn't feel necessarily like a streaming channel a lot of times, because it's its own network,
Yes.
The way I liked you can go in there and just look at each channel. I mean, you have a Doctor Who channel, you have a Magnum PI channel, that is really cool concept, and I mean, yes, you can go, yes, there are commercials, but like still it's like limited. It's not the kind of commercials they used to get in, regular cable TV or something. So it's still, it's something cool about it. We often watch Pluto TV.
That's my go-to when I have. I can't think of what to watch. I'll just throw on something.
Right. Tokushatsu and
Ultraman and
the third.
24 on the third, right? A whole different channel.
Again, think about like we're used to that now. Like, the fact that there's a 24-hour tokusatsu channel. Like, that's like a fantasy that back in the 70s or 80s. If we were thinking there'd be such a thing, We're
like, I start watching Kamen Rider, the original Kamen Rider series with subtitles, and I can fall asleep and wake up 4 hours later. Still Kamen Rider.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, there's something cool about that. I know.
See, it is a good world. And that's the thing, too. We have to remember at this party that we're having.
Right.
Because, we're here and we're celebrating our time together and the holidays. But when you think about the way things have been going in the past, this year did have some highlights. The conventions coming back.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
This last Comic-Con, this last full-fledged Comic-Con that we were at.
It's a really good time.
One of my favorite Comic-Cons.
Yeah.
One of my favorite convention memories because it came together. It was all of us again.
Yeah.
Get to hang out with Casper Van Dien. Like, it was just, there's so many.
Terrific.
It all worked out. Yeah. Like, it just worked out. And it was really cool.
I'm friends with him on Facebook now.
Yeah, me too. I know.
And I love it. He was such a joy to have on our show.
Yeah. And everything. It was great.
And gosh, and the thing that I didn't realize is that dude has done a lot of work.
I know.
He really has. And he was just lovely. And his wife was just also lovely.
Genuinely wonder. I know.
That was so much fun. I'd love to get them back.
Maybe. Yeah, I know.
They would come back.
For sure. Yeah. But also, and just this last Monsterpalooza was great too.
That's right.
I mean, it was really cool. It was just great to be back again to a full-fledged Monsterpalooza as well, So, yeah. I mean,
and both of them really, I mean, we had the table at the Monsterpalooza proper.
Yeah.
But then Son of Monsterpalooza, that was great. Just to be able to walk around and have all of this happening again and to be with people. Look, I understand the things that we all had to do to try to remain safe.
Of course,
For the most part, everybody was good about that. But, when you're at that point where it's like, okay, well, we've done as much as we can do when it comes to trying to outrun the virus.
Right.
Let's have a convention.
Right.
It's interesting that I went to both of those conventions, or I went to Comic-Con and I went to 2 Monsterpaloozas. Didn't catch COVID.
I know.
Same here.
I know.
Spent 2 days in international airports.
Yeah.
And that's where I got it. I'm sure that's where I
know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because that's like it's just giant petri dish,
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's not fun, the COVID thing.
Now, do you guys think of it this way though? That sometimes this kind of goes in and out of my mind. Like when we go to like the horror convention and you're there meeting people and stuff like that, and in the back of my head, it's like, oh, we've overcome COVID and stuff. But the truth of the matter is, it's this little virus that goes, oh, they're beating me up. I'm gonna morph. I'm gonna evolve. I'm gonna turn into something else. It's constantly mutating because
it's the Andromeda strain. Yeah,
yes,
it totally is.
It wants to survive. And so that's why we kind of have to maintain this. It's like, look, if we're able to take care of smallpox and polio and all this other stuff, it's going to take a little time to get rid of this little guy. But I kind of felt like I was part of my own horror movie, Did anyone feel that way?
Yeah, I just was watching last night The Deadly Spawn because they brought up that figure.
Oh yeah,
wonderful figure that's out,
right.
And so I had to
my gift guide. Yeah,
put that one out again. And so I'm watching that last night, and that's one of those. That's what the COVID is like. If COVID were bigger, it'd be that.
Yeah.
But that's a great movie.
It is really well.
I forgot how great that is, and
how for such a low budget too.
Such a low budget, right?
Ambitious little movie.
Holy fuck! And the gore scenes.
Yeah, it's great.
There's a scene in the Deadly Spawn where one of the Deadly Spawn's victim, and the Deadly Spawn are like these big, like multi-headed aliens, and the heads each have like 1,000 teeth.
It's like, just a giant mouth.
It's just a mouth. Wow. It's just a mouth
of teeth, rows and rows of teeth.
Rows and rows of teeth.
Really, really cool design. Yeah.
Really cool design.
I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting because it's not really a ripoff of like Alien. Like I can see that was like maybe the starting off point to be inspired by, but they made it into its own thing, you know?
Yeah.
It does feel different. And there's a lot of surprises in what happens in the film.
Yeah.
And
really
there's a kid who really loves horror, and there's so much to like. And the effects, the gore effects are so ambitious. And there's one scene where the Deadly Spawn is just tearing this guy apart.
Right.
And I remember that in Cinemagic magazine, one of the episodes was how to do gore effects. And they used as an example, and they would do that. Deadly Spawn came up in a number of those.
Yeah, because that was like a homegrown little movie. And
they're like tearing pieces of skin off the skull of this guy, and you understand that it looks a tad primitive,
but that's what made it charming. Great. Yeah. Like I think if it was done like today by like K&B or effects or something, it would be almost like too disturbing. Like it's
done too slick.
Yeah, it's done a little bit. You're right. It's a little bit amateurish, a little bit crude, but just a little bit.
It works.
But the ambition and it works great. Yeah, for that movie, it works great.
Wouldn't you say there are some films that, low budget films that maybe they're not the greatest, but they inspire you?
Yeah,
that's
you can see
like,
that.
Like the first Evil Dead too. It's like there's so much that they try to put, and like in Deadly Spawn, it's like there's so much in it that it inspires you. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, there's certain movies like that. Like the first Phantasm to me is like that. Like that movie. That movie, like I didn't know what that was. I think I remember seeing the trailer, and it's like trailer was great. It's like this one doesn't scare you. You're already dead. Like what? And then you see the movie. It's like, but the movie you don't know until what sets that movie apart is its dreamlike quality. And that just
literally.
And it works beautifully. Like you're right there. There's movies that have that special something. The
music really helps that movie as well.
Oh yes.
Are you talking about Phantasm?
Yes.
I bought the soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
of
course.
So much.
So good.
Another one, Matt, that I just saw a couple of days ago. Shout Factory put out a Blu-ray, The Flesh Eaters.
Oh yeah.
The Flesh Eaters is so great. That is a movie. Talk about a movie that surprises you because
great every time too.
Yeah, and first of all, in this Blu-ray, really, it's beautifully shot in black and white. Yes. Like it's really well shot, and it's got that kind of slightly over the top pulp horror feel to it, and it's nasty too.
Yeah, it's a little sleazy, and
gory movie, and with like horrible characters, and but it's a great story. There's great twists. Yep. Super ambitious. There's a great big monster at the end of it. It's gruesome and. It's just great. It's just something like as a kid you saw on TV, like whoa, like it sticks with you. It's really well done.
Sean, can you tell me when you watch that movie, they always will say, "Oh, this is the version with the added Nazi experiment stuff."
Yeah, there's an alternate cut. Was that
originally shot for the movie, or was that something that was added later? Or
no, I think it was shot for the movie, and it was never. I don't know though if it was ever released theatrically that way, but in fact, there's an earlier DVD that has that. Some DVDs have it like just separately as an extra, and you see like because basically Martin Kosak's character goes in to talk about how these flesh eaters originated and how they were Nazi experiments. And as he's talking,
right?
It's a flashback, and you see these victims, just naked women jumping to this like boiling vat, and then it comes out skeletons, and it's great. I mean, but that was like a little they for whatever reason they cut it. I think it works great as a flashback, but that movie is just great. I mean, it's
one of my
fantastic.
favorites.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Have you seen that, Larry?
I have not.
Oh, you got to see that, man. Dude. Check it out.
How about you, James?
Nope. Put it on my queue.
Yeah, it should be available somewhere. You got to see it.
And it's really like a lot of our listeners out there writing a list going, oh, what does Matt and Sean like? Oh, what do they see? Oh, I got to put that on my list.
There's a lot of good ones. But yeah, it's perfect for the holidays.
Are there any other ones that are coming out that you could say like, hey, this is one that I recommend that I've been waiting forever for it to come out in a decent,
like a Christmas theme one, you mean? Or
no, not necessarily. Just something that that's because to me, you're like the guy who's always, you have that info. There are things that you bring up,
and then I'll Google on the pulse of what horror America wants.
Yeah, right. You'll say something like, "Oh yeah, they've online. They said that this movie's coming out," and then I'll Google it. Nothing, but because you have these secret channels where you get this information. But is there anything cool and weird that's coming?
I talked about a couple on the last gift guide show, but
talked about the
Paul Naschy one.
Paul Naschy, right?
Well, there is one movie that is kind of has been like the holy grail of lost kaiju films that this company now is putting out. James, have you heard about this movie called Monster Wang Magui?
No.
So this movie is called Space Monster Wang Magui, and it is a 1967 South Korean kaiju movie, and it's this monster from space that comes down. It's kind of plot, I guess, similar to King Kong in some ways, and it was inspired by Godzilla and King Kong and Gamera. And this company called SRS Cinema, this little new company, is putting it out on Blu-ray. It's coming out in January, I believe. And
you've never seen this?
No, nobody's seen it. Like this,
nobody's seen it.
I mean, you can go online. There's like fleeting, grainy photos of what the monster looks like, but it's like it's a giant monster movie.
What does it look like?
From South Korea. It's weird. It's got big tusks. It's really goofy looking kind of, but it looks great. I mean, I'm down. It's like, I can't wait to see it.
I think I'm down too.
Yeah. I think you can, it's available. Just look up SRS Cinema and you can order the Blu-ray, but it's like that one. I think I remember like August Ragoni talking about it on his sites and stuff about it. And it's like, it's finally coming out. And again, that's another side of this golden age for nerds, is that, not just new stuff being made that's up our alley, but all this vintage stuff that I never thought in a million years would be, I'd see again, is coming out in like, remastered in these loving Blu-rays with like interviews with the cast and crew of these movies. It's crazy.
I love
it's like there's every movie in Psychotronic Encyclopedia that you've always wondered about is eventually, if not hasn't already, going to be out on Blu-ray, and that's kind of amazing.
Yeah. You're like the hunting dog who goes into the
I'm the
wild.
archaeologist.
Yeah, you go and you find these things and bring them back to us.
It's because I own so many films, but the fact that there are still some out there that I've never heard of, I've never seen, I have the desire. I want to see, it's just that there's always going to be something.
That's the thing that boggles my mind, is that how many movies have been made.
Yeah.
In general, like in just any kind
movies,
of movie.
I mean, think about it. It's like there's stuff out there.
George Méliès, is that the right way to pronounce it?
Yeah.
So I was on the plane back from Scotland. I'm watching this documentary about George Méliès, and one of the things they were talking about was that there was a point where he was so frustrated that he wasn't doing better in his career that he took all of his films and burned the negatives.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I had no knowledge of this.
It's crazy to hear like a filmmaker doing it. Usually it's like a network,
movies.
like a movie studio. Yeah, we just get rid of those. We need space for storage, so we burned all our classic movies or something. Yeah.
And then later on, his films turned up again, and they thought, well, what is this? Because we thought that he had burned them. Well, when they were looking at these films and they'd have like a little bit of surviving footage of one of the ones he didn't burn, they would play what they found side by side with this other footage. And they realized that the angle, it's the same movie, but the angle was slightly different.
Ooh. So he like filmed it twice, or
it's like he shot it in
multiple cameras,
almost like in 3D.
Wow.
But it wasn't for 3D. It was to have a second copy of the movie.
Wow. Interesting.
And I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's and so yeah. And it just like, that's another lovable nerd thing. The guy who's like, well, I found this copy, but it seems a little off by a fraction, Like, this is done from a different perspective. But yeah, that blew my mind.
That's crazy. That's like, I'm always fascinated by like the lost footage of stuff, like the giant spider in the pit and King Kong.
Or
like,
I don't think
we'll ever find that.
No, well, first of all, I don't think anyone knows for sure that it was
shot.
Right.
It was shot.
Right.
And what I firmly believe is that it was never shot.
Okay.
Yes, the spider was made. Yes, they put the spider in the pit, said this is what it would look like.
Right.
But the fact that something like this takes so long to shoot when you do animation, it doesn't make any logical sense, especially if you were working under Selznick at the time, which Merian C. Cooper and Schoensack and Willis O'Brien were. And I've heard the stories, the rumors, how, Merian C. Cooper decided to burn it because, it took the film into a different area, and it's like, we'll just burn the negative. See, the logic is if they shot it and they didn't like it, they would have saved it and used it in a different film. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
And so
totally.
I can't. So there's all this talk about
only George Méliès burns his movies.
So I firmly believe that it was never shot. But as far as Lost Films of London After Midnight, that was shot.
Yeah.
That existed.
Yeah.
But at this point in history, I doubt seriously there's anything remaining. I believe it will always be a lost film.
You guys know what they do with the Doctor Who episodes, because there's a lot of them that are missing, lost episodes.
Right. But you have the audio, right?
And there are every once in a while, a new episode will pop up somewhere. Like they'll find the prince at a TV station somewhere and, who knows where.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things they've been doing, which I think is pretty interesting, I'm not always in love with the level of technology that they're using for this, but what they'll do is, so back in the day, a lot of Doctor Who fans as kids would record the episodes, from the TV. Like we used to.
Really?
That's cool. Yeah.
And so,
on a tape recorder. Oh, I did that as a kid.
Right?
Yeah, me too.
Not Doctor Who, but TV shows.
I had happy days. I recorded all kinds of things. But so what they'll do is they'll take whatever recordings that they can find and get the best ones, and then do their audio magic on them and get them to be, the highest possible quality as you can get, and then they animate to it.
No,
that's cool. I like that.
And the animation is kind of primitive,
right?
But once you start watching it, you kind of get into the rhythm of it, and it's nice to see something that would normally just be gone,
right?
But they were, through ingenuity, they figured out a way to put this thing together. And I just watched a Patrick Troughton episode of Power of the Daleks.
Nice.
It's great. And it's like, hey, once again, we live in the golden age where someone decided, hey, let's do this.
Yeah. Do you guys know about the kind of mystery or the mythical story of the Wizard of Oz, about the Munchkin actor who apparently hung himself?
Yes.
What?
It's really fast. I mean, there's a show, actually it's a pretty cool little series. It's an older series, a few years old. It's on Shudder, called Cursed Films.
Oh yeah.
And they talk about Poltergeist and the Crow and all that. And they do one on Wizard of Oz, but how the story of Under the Rainbow, that movie, which the story was that all the Munchkin actors stayed at this hotel in Culver City, and making the Wizard of Oz, and they had
a wild party, right?
There's like orgies, and they wrecked the place, and none of that was
the
true.
Hotel is still there.
It was just a very exaggerated. Well, it was apparently it was just very exaggerated. Yes, people they were there and had a good time, but anyway, one story
wasn't Burning Man.
Right. One story about the Wizard of Oz is that there was like a Munchkin actor who just had a total crush on Judy Garland. And when she didn't pay much attention to him, he hung himself. And apparently, supposedly, he hung himself in the back of the stage of the set. So in one of the shots in the movie, when they're off to sea, the wizard, and they're going down to in the forest, and they're like leaving the forest, and in the background you can see like a shadowy figure between the trees hanging and going back and forth. Like,
is that true?
Okay. Well, most people say no, probably not. But it's like there are people who said that. But wait, Larry. People who said that the very first VHS releases of The Wizard of Oz, apparently in that version, you can see it. But then MGM like found out, and they apparently the conspirators are saying that they switched out the shot. There's an alternate shot of them walking off, and so they use that now. But apparently there's some cuts or some VHS versions of that where you can get it. You can see the hanging munchkin. It's fascinating though. It's
okay,
like Larry, what's your take on all this?
All right, so let's all. This is how rumors get started. Now, there was something that started. There was a speculation, and so let's talk about the truth and analyze. Okay, the scene that you're referring to. It's after when you see the witch on top of that little house, and she throws the fire, and then at the Tin Man and the Scarecrow and stuff. It's after that moment. And then what happens? The witch disappears. And so they say, hey, let's go. That I make a dime back out of me. Bah. And they go off, and they're going off into the forest. And what you see is this image of something that looks like it's swinging. Right. Well, it's true that on a VHS, when you look at it, it looks really weird. But what they did is they took the film, the actual negative film, and where you can blow it up. And what you'll see is, in these scenes, they had these large cranes, a bird, an actual bird. And it's a bird way in the background, and it flaps its wings. And you can see the beak, you can see the wing, but it's on a VHS on your crummy TV set when we were growing up in the 70s and the 80s. Right. It looks weird. It doesn't look right. It looks like something.
But for those people who are who fall into the conspiracy, they're saying that, the MGM switched out the alternate shot with the bird, but the original shot was him hanging there. Yeah. Of course.
Or there was a bird who was in love with Judy Garland and then hung itself.
Bird hung himself. Yeah.
And here's the other thing. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Look, for listeners here, we four here, we work in Hollywood. We work in the industry. You could say any project is a cursed film or a cursed project. You do something and everything.
Every
goes
show
wrong.
I work on is cursed.
Yes,
I can say that for
there's
sure.
always things going wrong, and it's amazing when you're doing a production. You're constantly, as a producer, you're constantly solving problems.
And of course, and Larry, it's famously there's stuff that we do know that did happen was like Margaret Hamilton did get burned when she went down the chute, and there's true. Another there's really amazing and the whole thing about the paint on the Tin Man. So there were a lot of crazy weird production issues
on the flip side. People got killed in Ben-Hur. It's on film and it's still in the film. Why isn't that not a curse? Well, it's won an Academy Award.
Sure.
So
no, that's true. I'm with you.
Yeah,
Look, do you guys remember this though? And we were talking about this a little bit today. Do you remember the whole thing about the song Roller Coaster of Love? Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
And it's by the Ohio Players. And so there's this urban myth that was hanging around forever is that at one point in the song, you hear someone scream in the background.
Really?
And the story is that was a woman who was getting murdered.
What?
At the recording studio, and I forget what
nobody noticed.
Was.
They kept singing.
That's the thing. That's the thing that just delights me about this urban.
Yeah. Was that
the idea is like
project?
Oh, come on, James. James.
Too soon.
But I love the fact that so there's someone being murdered in the background. It's on the tape. And you're like, well, this tape was so good, though.
Yeah.
Murder on
that was a good tape. Yeah, I don't think I can.
Yeah,
right.
That's a scream. That's a scream.
Yeah, that's funny.
But that was one that I heard for the longest time.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that's not true.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, this has been great, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I've got my eggnog cocktail here. And,
holiday cheer.
That's Larry's way of saying you can do anything you want, but you can't do it here.
Right.
Party's over.
Well, I try to be,
but you're right.
It's nice about it.
Feels like the time, let's do last call and
you have to do last call sometime.
That's true.
True.
You can't.
And look, there will be other wonderful times.
There will be. But this was nice because this was
fun.
This is just like a party. It was very spontaneous and I'm sure that if we were at a party, this exact same conversation would have happened.
Yeah,
and people would be
sure.
clamoring around going, what are those guys talking
about? What are those cool hip guys talking about? What are those dreamy guys over there?
Who's the guy with the Soylent Green?
Yeah.
And I know somebody out there would be like, oh, I know that Twilight Zone episode. That's that one.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm embarrassed I don't know the titles of those 2 episodes.
Hey, we've had some drinks.
Don't be embarrassed.
And I could look them up in 2 seconds, but I'm not going to.
I'm too tired.
On my eggnog.
I don't.
But you know what? I would say that for Christmas, like you can always go back to if you're a horror fan, you can always go back to your classic horror Christmas movies too, right?
Yeah.
You know?
For example,
I always try to watch Bob Clark's 1974 classic Black Christmas every year.
Like
so genius,
innovative,
so great,
classic,
great movie. But there's also, there's Don't Open Till Christmas. There's Christmas Evil. There's Silent Night, Bloody Night. There's Jack Frost, the Killer Snowman. There's Elves with an aging Dan Haggerty versus puppet elves, which is great. Of course, the Tales from the Crypt segment from the 1972 film with Joan Collins and All Through the House.
Great.
With great scary Santa invading your house. And, of course, there's Home for the Holidays, Gremlins, Edward Scissorhands, Krampus, Rare Exports, A Christmas Horror Story. All those. Check them out for Christmas if you're a horror fan.
Let me ask you something, because I've never seen this movie. Tell me if it's any good. Jack Frost?
Yeah, 1997, Jack Frost. There's a sequel too. If you're in the right mood, yes, it's basically Child's Play, but instead of the spirit of a serial killer going to a doll, it goes into snow and becomes a snowman.
Okay.
It's that kind of movie. A freak accident transforms a serial killer into an unstoppable mutant snowman. He can kind of like melt into water, then get through the pipes, then appears as a snowman again. It's completely ridiculous, but it's funny. Like, he has icicle fangs. He bites off a guy's head, and it's fun. That's a good one.
Guys, have you ever had an accident and then thought, you know what? At least this isn't a freak accident.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had a freak accident. But
look at the bright side. It's not a freak accident.
Right.
I would also recommend a movie. I've mentioned it before, but it's called Better Watch Out. It's from 2016.
I've heard about that one. Is that good?
It's good. I recommend it.
Is it a comedy or is it straight for horror?
It's straight, but it's a bit of a wink, but it's about a kid who's obsessed with his babysitter and he wants to seduce her. And then there's he sort of fakes a home invasion, but things go awry.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
Yeah. I like it a lot, actually.
Okay.
All right.
I was not expecting it to go where it went, and I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Sean, you brought up Elves. There was a series, a short series called Elves.
Yes, Gina and I checked it out per your recommendation. That was a cool little movie,
really
a cool little series.
Danish horror, fantasy, drama, streaming television series.
Yeah, and I get good example of I think they're half-hour episodes mostly, half hour to 40 minutes, and there was only 6 or 8 episodes, and it was just right. It was just the right amount of it was a pretty simple, straightforward, but creepy, scary killer elves in the forest. I mean, it's it's good.
Yeah, and
really good scary elves.
Scary elves, kind of a nice element to it as well.
Yeah,
and I almost don't want to tell you anything about it because
that's a good one.
There's so many surprises that happen during this series, but check that out.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Hey, Larry, what do you got?
I got I'm ready to pass out.
Oh,
that's okay. That's
and if
that means it's been a good party.
I will say this. You don't want to be that guy that passes out at the party, but if I was gonna pass out, being with you guys is, I know I'd be okay.
True.
Yeah, and
you might find yourself mustache drawn on your face in the morning, but still,
you do that, Sean.
No, I wouldn't. I
really?
wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
Look, it might take a while for Sharpie to get off your penis, but eventually it would come off.
All right, you've just made me so paranoid now. I'm not passing. now I have this image of Matt going, here, let's write something on his penis. Come on.
We'll call you an Uber.
Yes.
Gee, and for listeners, isn't it great when you have friends like that? I tell you.
Yes. And it's been great hanging with you guys at this party.
Yeah.
And, and we're out of the year with this episode and looking forward to next year and all the surprises and wonderful guests that we'll have.
Yeah.
And really, a big thanks as always to all our listeners who have been with us.
Sure.
Either discovered us recently or have been with us for many years. Some since the very beginning of this podcast.
Right.
Our Patreon patrons.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Very, very
it's
supportive.
It means a lot because we wouldn't be we do this because we love this stuff, but just being able to expose maybe some horror and sci-fi fans to stuff that they didn't know about, or
right.
It's cool. And the guests we've gotten for this.
Oh, we have to thank our guests, right?
The
ones that have returned and the new ones.
I mean, these are all people that we never would have met or got to know. Some have become good friends, and
that's right.
Because of Monster Party. It's because of the podcast. Otherwise, So,
yeah. How great was it to go to Monsterpalooza, Son of Monsterpalooza, and meet up with Jeffrey Combs and Tom Holland, and they were happy to see us, and they remember.
So
cool.
That's pretty awesome.
It's very cool. Yeah. Now we're very lucky. We're blessed, and God, you know what? I'm going to cry if you guys don't say something.
God, Cthulhu bless us all, everyone.
What do you guys say we raise our glasses?
Let's raise our glass.
To toast our wonderful listeners, our wonderful guests, and also all those people who've been supportive of us throughout the years.
Absolutely.
Yes, very much. Very well said.
Love you all, and I want to wish everybody a very happy holidays and be safe because, again, like what Matt said, we have a lot of wonderful stuff in store for you in the next year.
That's right.
Yes.
Cheers.
Woo!
Cheers.
Woo! Time for a listener shout out.
Shout out. To old acquaintance shouting out.
This goes out to Stephen Parker from Auburn, Georgia.
Stephen!
Longtime listener and Patreon member.
All right.
Who has purchased some items from our eBay store. That is our Kaiju t-shirt and 2 shot glasses.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey.
Double-fisted drinker.
Yeah.
All right.
Remember, you wash them by hand.
Wash them by hand.
Not dishwasher safe, Stephen.
Right.
He has to wait until Christmas to actually see them because his daughter Miranda is giving them to him as a Christmas gift. So he's going to open them up on Christmas morning.
That's nice.
So, Stephen, thank you for
they're in the mail.
Listening. They're in the mail.
Cool.
Thank you for your support and thank you for listening. And hope you enjoy those items.
Absolutely.
And yes, Monster Party merch is available from our eBay store. And these make great gifts at any time of year. It doesn't have to be Christmas. Any time of year.
Yes.
And, Valentine's is coming up.
That's right. Correct. Yes. And what do we got for these young lovers?
We got t-shirts. We got shot glasses.
So romantic.
We got the legendary cap. The cap.
Oh, that'll seal
Party
the deal.
Logo in many, many stitches. The breathable cap.
Stitches.
The stitches.
The stitches, as many stitches as there are ways to say I love you.
Yes. We will keep you in stitches. We'll keep you in stitches.
That's okay. Right. Well, great. No.
And of course, the Monster Party PPE cloth mask, which you
the most romantic of all.
Right.
I love you so much. I'm keeping you alive.
But when kissing somebody under the mistletoe, remove the mask, then put it back on.
Well, it depends.
It's true.
Yeah, unless you belong to a religious order that doesn't allow that, then the mask will be perfect. Yeah,
that's true.
All right.
And you definitely want to wear the mask at any airport around the world because they are petri dishes, I'm told.
Yeah. Yes.
And if you are a Patreon member and you order something from our eBay store, which is Monster Party Store, easy to remember on eBay, then we will throw in free goodies, free surprise goodies, courtesy of Biff Bang Pow Toys and Jason Lindsay and creature creator extraordinaire Ted Haynes.
That's right.
Ed.
Two of our very talented and special friends.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
Now, we always talk about this Patreon thing, and for some reason, and maybe it's because it's the end of the year and it's the holidays and I'm distracted, I don't remember anything about this. What is this Patreon?
It's amazing. You have to get your memory checked, James. Something
I guess
wrong.
A lot of blackouts.
I need to take that drug that's made from jellyfish, I guess. I don't know. But what is this Patreon all about, Matt?
Well, I was talking about how these various airports, international airports, are kind of petri dishes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's kind of what Patreon is, but in a good way. Because Patreon is a virtual dish, where the Patreon people who join will have access to all this wonderful bonus material. And we're talking special episodes, audio episodes of our special shows like Larry's Toy Time and Monster Party Masterpieces. Yes, they're both great shows. And we have more shows coming. And you can access our library of stuff that we've done in the past. We have these wonderful video logs of our trip to Japan. So, if you're jonesing for Japan, this is a way to do it virtually.
Yep.
And my stepfather-in-law is always volunteering these wonderful collections of vintage sci-fi stories. So there's a lot of great stuff that we have to offer. But you want to get involved. You want to get in that petri dish, find your place, and infect us.
It's like the infection. Wow. It's like the infection without the germ analogy.
It's an infection of affection.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Matt, it's very, very tempting, but it's the holidays. I'm completely tapped.
Wait a minute, what?
My credit cards are all maxed. I can't afford such luxury.
You know what we need?
What?
We need a very special holiday miracle.
Yeah.
Star Wars Holiday Special, for example, was that type of miracle. The Guardians of the Galaxy one, not so much, apparently. But the miracle that you're getting this holiday season is that to join Patreon, all you need is $5. Yes.
Wow.
$5. Yes.
That is a miracle. You can't get like a hanging munchkin ornament for that price.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, for $5, you can get somebody, you could find somebody who will maybe stage something that looks like that. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, you're right.
Sounds like it.
So $5. All it is $5.
That's a miracle.
Well, how does one take part in this?
All you got to do is go to patreon.com, go to Monster Party, click the join button, follow the instructions, and next thing you know, you're hopping down Good Time Lane.
Nice.
And wouldn't you say, Matt, if you join now, I mean, you get to see all this amazing stuff that you've missed out on. And it's almost like it's like our own streaming stuff. You have hours of stuff.
Yeah, it's our own
over the holidays.
It's like the Pluto TV for Monster Party.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
Always stuff.
It's like jumping into what you think is an endless box of goodies, but there is an end.
Right.
But then it keeps going the longer.
Right. There'll be new things all the time. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, every month.
Imagine jumping into a bathtub and then the water overflows, but then you've still got the faucet adding more water. I don't know if we've explained this enough.
It's like Santa's sack of toys. It seems like how can he have every toy for every kid in the world in there? But somehow it's like the TARDIS. It's much bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. Santa's,
it's so many things. And you know what you should do? You should write in and offer your own explanation. What the fuck is going on?
All right. I say just drink more eggnog.
Here.
And let's remind our listeners that we are also on social media. We are on Facebook, at Monster Party TV. YouTube is also Monster Party TV. We've got a lot
MySpace, we're on there too,
right? We're working on
that. Maybe not.
We're still working on that.
We're in the pages of Grit.
Grit. Well, and we've got a lot. All of our episodes, our podcast episodes, are also streaming for free on YouTube.
That's
and
right.
We've got we've got playlists of all these different YouTube videos. So please go on YouTube if you haven't already and check it out.
Yep.
We are also on Twitter at Monster Party HQ, and our Instagram handle also Monster Party HQ. And hey, listen, we want to hear from you. We love hearing from you and your thoughts and your suggestions. So please take a moment, write to us, let us know your thoughts, and we will read them on the air.
That's right.
Unless they have anything to do with Avatar, and then just go right to Larry, because we can't be bothered. On that note, I am Matt Weinhold.
I'm Shawn Sheridan.
I'm Larry Stroth.
And I'm James Gonis.
Keep America strong.
Season screamings.
And happy holidays to all our listeners.
Mistletoe is made of people.
I'm going to keep working until I drop dead. Okay.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather be,
I'd rather have a heart attack and die in front of my computer while I'm editing some fucking show. I'd rather go that way.
I think we should all just it'd be great if we all just in the middle of some argument about, ET or, whatever.
Zombies fast or slow.
Yeah. All of us at the same time. And we all think that the screen has froze.
Yeah. Right.
We're all going together, guys.
Oh, God.
That psychomania.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You just have to want to come back. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I do.
Yeah. I know.
I don't know if I want to go all at the same time, because I want you guys to, last. I
thought you were going to say that we want you to mourn you for months and months.
Wow, yeah, right. Yeah.
Shawn,
year 6 of the Larry Stroth Memorial.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the time that Larry went, no.
Let's take a look at some clips of his best friend.
Oh my God. And they'd all be like these horrible clips of me yelling and getting angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm Mr. Barley Toaster. I'm Mr. Pot.
You know what I tried in eggnog is Fireball for the first time, and I'm having it now. It's great. Yeah.
It's we also got Frangelico. Frangelico is great.
It's awesome.
And also, but I love your shirt, by the way.
I just know his place. James, is that your?
It's getting there.
Is that the room?
It's the start.
It's
I was going to go the other way. I was going to go. So that's it, huh?
No, compared to what he's been.
But I can tell that's cool. Yeah, that's going to be if that's a little taste of what's to come. That's cool.
I think you can sort of see the Twilight Zone shelf.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Can you?
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's funny because those shelves look very similar to the one shelf set I have for my books in this room. But yeah, those are cool. Looks good.
What's up with that, James?
Oh,
why are you copying Shawn?
Well, he's influential.
He's an influencer. When I think of Shawn Sheridan, I think influencer.
I'm an influencer. Yes.
No,
influencer.
I think pot now. When I think of Shawn, I immediately think of pot now.
That's okay. It's fine.
I see Shawn.
I think of my wife
running around the backyard.
He does do that. He does make that sound.
I have a surprise for you.
Uh-oh, you moved again.
Oh, shit.
No, I never told you this, but I got a rondo.
I have that figure too. Is that the
Sideshow?
Yeah.
The Sideshow.
Did you get
showing the Rondo figure from Sideshow?
I got it oddly enough at G-Fest. There was one vendor who had all these old. He had I was a teenage werewolf. I was a teenage Frankenstein.
Got those,
Dracula. all the ones I didn't have, and he had Rondo's. It's like,
do you have his hat?
You know.
You have his hat though?
Yes, I have that.
Okay, you got to have the hat.
You got to have that.
And you got to pose him with the hands out like this because it's a great. Yeah, that's a good one. That's cool.
There was a split second when you said
you thought, did you know?
Larry, oh man, the green in his eyes.
I got a rondo for my James Gonis podcast that I've been doing for the last year. I haven't told you guys.
Well, I didn't know what. If
that's why I don't talk on the podcast because I'm talking on my own.
I'm talked out
at the same time. Oh my God, there was just a split second there. It was automatic. I went, oh my God.
He had a sinking feeling in his stomach. Oh, no.
I did. I did. You know,
I know James well enough by now. I knew that, I knew there was a punchline coming.
Yeah, everything out of my mouth is bullshit. So it's the boy who cried bullshit.
The boy who cried Rondo?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So do we have a guest? What's going on today?
No,
we do not have a guest, Larry.
We're just we are just rolling shit, man. I did though. I listened
all of you.
It is good to see all you guys. Actually we listened to the 2 years back because I pretty much forgot about that holiday bash with Mark Pitta, which is really fun. But it was
like the fact that you have to do research on.
But for some reason it wasn't until I was hearing it that it kind of. I remembered it a lot, but it was a good one though. Yeah,
I love that one. Yeah,
that was good.
Well,
I remembered nothing about it.
I remember having a really good time.
Yeah,
I remember,
and we were drinking quite a bit.
We were drinking.
I was smoking. Yeah, it was good.
And I remember Mark bringing up things very show specific.
Yeah, he was prepared.
He was prepared. Yes, unlike us tonight.
Yeah, but maybe we'll just wing it. We'll
wing it. It's gonna be fun.
It'll be fine. Yeah,
and I'm gonna give we'll give some backstory, everything. Come on.
Is there a little decompression from
backstory?
What's going on?
Well, I would like to explain a little bit of how this whole thing came because, we initially wanted a guest, but then this happens that it's on Saturday. Everyone's busy night, on Saturday, and then it's like, well, okay. It's like one of those parties. I'll say this on the air, but it's one of those parties where, you invite all these people and, your friends show up and that's it. And so,
right.
4 guys hanging around the punch bowl.
No, true friends.
No, it's not like that. It's to invite some friends. And that one friend that you thought was going to come over didn't come over and they didn't call or anything. And so this is the last time I reach out to James Cameron. Forget it. I'm done now.
Nice.
He's not going to come on our show because, we're not good enough for you? You're busy, promoting that big film of yours? Okay, fine.
Which nobody's going to go see, by the way.
Larry, nice deadpan delivery, I have to say. You've learned so much from me.
Sean, you're not going to see it?
You're going to go and pay to see money to see that movie?
Yes. Yeah, come on.
Larry, I thought you might have already gone to see it.
Well, I've been a little busy, buddy.
But Larry, I thought you
I'm going to wait until it comes out on color forms.
Yeah, I'll wait till it comes out on streaming for free. And of course, it's never free. You're paying for streaming, but I'm not going to pay extra 1 cent extra to see that movie.
No, I know you, Sean, because you don't like commercials. If it's on something, you can't watch it there because it'll have commercials.
Streaming. I never watch anything with commercials ever.
You mean just when it's totally free? It's gonna be a while though, Sean.
When it's on
like a
Disney Plus or HBO Max,
Sean, don't you want to be part of the now crowd? It's like, hey,
no, I don't.
Do you really think that movie is going to be like this runaway huge hit?
It's for all those hipsters out there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay.
I think it's going to underperform. I think it's going to underperform. Do people really fucking care about Avatar still?
Well, it's funny you should say that. So the last film came out, 10 years ago? Okay. It's been a while ago. So it was a big technological thing and we all saw it. We all had our different feelings about it. But now it's like, so the technology, it's the same thing. Oh no. The images look better. And then what I didn't like is how...
What about the story and the writing? That's what was bad about it. It's not like... I never for a second do I deny that the movie was a technological wonder. Of course it was. But so what if it had a fucking shitty story? And you really think
it was neat, Sean? Didn't you? You thought it was neat?
No, it really was such a waste
Larry,
of time. I'm really curious. I'm really curious to see how it's going to do and what people's reaction is going to be, because I know that like nothing stops Cameron. Like he's going to do whatever he does, and from just pure hubris, sometimes he's able to make these movies that people that are hits because like he just. But I just don't know if this time it's going to be the same thing. You know,
out of curiosity, I think, and then there are people that did like that movie.
It might do well.
It'll do well enough.
It's the holidays, and but is it going to be like a critical and like long time smash hit that's going to change the way of movies are made?
Talk about Avatar, like my favorite movie is Avatar. But it's kind of like an anomaly. It's a weird. I know that it was a smash hit at the time because we were so curious. It was in a lot of ways the first of its kind and what it did, but it was 3D was wonderful. Story. It was a terrible story. It was like bad writing, and I think that when we watched that movie and when the word unobtainium comes up, that's when Carrie and I started looking for the door, and
it's just that is Avatar still relevant? That's what I'm really curious to see.
In fairness, I don't want to dig out and say when that word came up, I wanted to leave. I chuckled. It made me laugh. But, I was still interested enough to see where it goes. There's some great action sequences in it. There's some really neat drama.
How can you defend that and not Star Trek 5?
Star Trek 5 is dreadful. Come on.
You know what? It isn't. I just recently went back to it.
Wait,
it is a better time. Are we doing the show? Remember.
Are we doing a show now? Are we doing a show?
This is good extras, but
yeah,
but
I don't want to spend an hour. I could go an hour about. We should do a show. Star Trek 5. What happened?
I should watch that again too, because
what happens is Uhura dances. That's a really good time. I laughed at that. And then I also, you know what, Larry, Mr. Regular Joe, what I loved, there are actually some really good moments, like when in the movie where everyone is going through their secret pain, especially the McCoy one.
Yes,
it's some good stuff.
It is.
Do I think it's the best Star Trek movie? No, but I do, in retrospect, respect it more than I did initially. But I have to say, when I saw it in the theater, I had a pretty good time.
Well, it sometimes feels like the old show. That particular movie. That's what is kind of a little
like
bit
a comedy episode. Well, one of those ones that has the comedy moments.
It's the Spock's brain of the Star Trek movies.
Wow,
James, coming from James, that's pretty impressive. Yeah.
I will say this episode you can remember, right, James?
Matt, I will say this, that when I saw the film, I remember the Uhura dance, and I remember being embarrassed, and I was upset. But now that she's gone, I look at it in a different way. Not that I've looked at it recently.
I will have to. It's funny you said about that.
Because now that she's gone, it's she was such a wonderful lady, such a wonderful supporter of Star Trek and women in space and technology, and she's such a wonderful human being that it's I just look at that scene now a little differently. It's like, hey, maybe it didn't work for me, but I applaud you for everything that you've done.
There is a lot of dopey in that movie.
Well, it's funny, Matt, when you said about the scene with McCoy and his dad, because I remember thinking when I saw it the first time, like, man, they really must have had to look far and high and low to find an actor who somehow looked older than DeForest Kelley at the time in that movie.
It was played by DeForest Kelley.
Was it?
No. But because it's supposed to be a father and son. But I mean, DeForest Kelley's like 80 already. So it's like I think a guy is like, hey, we got a guy who's like 112. Okay, cast him. Like, but they had to play.
DeForest Kelley came out of the womb 40.
But you see, don't you see that I will say that is a neat scene, Matt. But the frustrating thing is everyone has their painful moment except for Kirk.
Of course. I don't need anybody to tell me that.
You know what, Matt? I will say this. If there was that moment in there, if Shatner would have been able to take that risk,
but he's directing,
because he needs to be fair, that would have made it a better film. But because
that would have been
that,
interesting, yes.
what would have been great is which they did in that really cool series Star Trek Continues. They did an episode where he was like haunted by all the women that he had. I forget what it was, but it was like he kept running into like the green slave girl and all the women.
There's your Star Trek porn movie right there.
Yeah,
that's true.
Did you say foreign movie or porn movie?
Porn movie. It could be foreign
or a foreign porn movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if it was done in Turkey, it would be really good.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if it would be done in Turkey.
Speaking of
but yeah.
Well, this has been great.
This has been great. Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Can I just grab a soda?
Get some eggnog or something.
Well, Sean, I might pass out. I've been up since 5.
Oh my God!
I know you don't want to hear it.
I know. You've been working your ass off, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab a Diet Pepsi. I'll be right back.
Go for it.
All right. Okay. All I wanted was a Pepsi, and she wouldn't give it to me. Put me in an institution. Told me it was the only solution. Anyone? No? Okay.
That sounds really familiar.
It's the song "Institutionalized" by Suicidal Tendencies. It's a very famous punk rock song.
Is that the one he's like?
That's where he's telling the story.
You're on drugs.
You're on drugs. I'm not on drugs. Yes, you are. You're on drugs.
Yeah, I love that.
Just give me a Pepsi. All I wanted was a Pepsi.
Yeah, I
she wouldn't give it to me.
That's a great song.
A great Christmas song.
Yeah.
And Sean, the reason why I don't want to do a Red Bull, I lost track at how many I had today. So
okay, that's good. Then you should. Yeah.
Attack. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's wise. Then yes.
But on the flip side, if I gotta go, why I'm bitching at you guys or something, that's a wonderful way to go.
See, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that would be the great last episode. The suicide pact.
Shemp Howard died in the middle of a joke. He was telling a joke. Yeah, I think, Matt, isn't that true? He was right in the middle of a joke in a taxi cab.
It sounds right.
And he didn't get to the punchline. He's doing it was so funny and just
Dick Shawn too.
Dick Shawn, yeah.
He was literally on stage.
Dick Shawn died on stage and everybody laughed because they thought that it was a bit.
Yeah.
And then, then he was like holding the laugh too long. And,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
But,
good times.
All right. Well, on that note.
What are we calling this?
I was going to call it the Monster Party Holiday Party 2022.
Okay, because we did call that earlier when we called the Holiday Bash, but do you want to just call this Holiday Party?
You got a better Holiday Party? We can call it a Holiday Bash if you want. We can do Holiday Bash 2022. That works for me.
Yeah, Monster Party Holiday Bash. So okay, let's do that.
There's a party at Matt's, and the 4 of us have just come in the room while the party's going on. We come in, do our little thing, and the hookers and the Coke is
Save
out
it. Save all this. Save all this. This is all good stuff. I love it. All right, here we go. Ready?
Yeah. And I guess and Christmas gifts, guys, I have for you. I guess we can do that after Christmas.
Yeah, we'll do like a little get together, maybe around New Year's or something or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Or just wait till 2003. Just 2000 Christmas 2003. Just do it then.
Isn't it about time that Monster Party created its own holidays?
Yes, we should have an official Monster Party Day. We should find a day that's like Monster Party Day.
We should have a few of them.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little selfish, I think. You're being a little selfish.
I think it's very American.
No, more than one. No, it should be just one, and
All right. Well, okay. Wow.
What about other? Oh fuck! I was about to say, what about other podcasts out there? God, what's happening?
Wait a minute. You just thought about another podcast? What's wrong with you? You are tired.
Well, there aren't any, are there? Well,
no, not in your world.
No,
no, there are. I'm sure there are some.
There's a couple.
Generous of you.
There's like a handful of nice little podcasts out there that do their little thing. That's isn't
it? I think it's just us. And then the Ghostbusters one, right?
And those guys were nice. They have a nice little podcast.
Yeah, they're obsessed with you. That was my favorite part.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they were obsessed with you. I love the fact that they came over to Sean's place and they brought these T-shirts that all said,
"Oh yeah."
The T-shirts.
I forgot about those.
All
still have mine.
This is how I feel about Larry. This is how I feel about Larry. So we were all like portrayed as what we think about Larry.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Larry's very marketable. He's just like
But at one point, I did want. At one point during that podcast, I did want to say, "Excuse me, I exist too."
Well, this year they're getting us T-shirts with just Larry's face on it. I'm just gonna wear that around, just as Larry. Like you're going as Larry, like his character.
I don't know about that. Yeah, yes, you are also a part of the show, Matt.
Thanks, Larry. I'm slowly climbing the corporate ladder from the mail room to what am I now? Craft services or
all right,
cafeteria.